Welcome, my friends. Welcome. It is already Wednesday, the 28th day of July, 2010. Webster Griffin Tarpley, economist and historian, will be joining us coming up in 30 minutes to give us his take on the WikiLeaks situation. Also, the war drums intensifying their drumming for a war with Iran and Syria. We'll be discussing that and a lot more. Of course, so we'll talk to him about the economy and his view on that front as well coming up in 30 minutes. I'm going to cover a lot of really important news in the meantime. And then we're going to have wide open phones during the second hour. And the third hour, I'm going to open the phones up specifically for military and police. The phones loaded up yesterday, but we only had time to get to a few of them. Calling in, talking about how the police are being militarized, how they are taking battle-hardened recruits from Iraq and training them to take on the American people for gun confiscation and martial law. That is confirmed. There is a criminal overthrow of the United States taking place. And the system intends to use the military and the police to be the physical enforcers for anybody that doesn't go willingly into the night and allow the globalists to implode this country so that the establishment can consolidate control. That is all coming up today. Amazing news right now that is up on Infowars.com from Kurt Nimmo this morning. And he also links to Bloomberg. Possible false flag attack. Japanese say oil tanker attacked near the Strait of Hormuz. That's the headline at Infowars.com. Bloomberg is reporting this morning that an oil tanker owned by the Japanese company O.S.K. Lines, operator of one of the world's second largest oil tanker fleets, may have been attacked near the Strait of Hormuz, a strategically important waterway between the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf bordering Iran. There was an explosion aboard the M-Star 5:30 a.m. Tokyo time that slightly injured one crew member, the shipping line said in a statement. The ship was on its way to the United Arab Emirates to assess the damage. No oil is reported leaking from the vessel, thank God. The explosion on the starboard side. They could have an explosion on board the ship. That wouldn't be very suspicious, but this is on the side of the ship. The explosion on the starboard side of the ship damaged hatches and a lifeboat. Corey Baker, a spokesman for the U.S. Fifth Fleet, speaking on phone from the fleet's base in Bahrain, told Bloomberg the cause and extent of the damage is unknown and will be investigated, he said. If it turns out to be an attack, it will have implications for ships going in and out of the Strait of Hormuz and will lead to delays and rising tanker rates, said Ben Goggin, a freight derivatives broker at the SSY Futures Ltd, a unit of the world's second largest ship broker. There was a series of naval standoffs between the U.S. and Iran in the Strait of Hormuz in December of 07-08. In January of 08, the Pentagon accused Iran of threatening the U.S. Fifth Fleet, but this was later contradicted by the Navy. According to Press TV, a naval officer had literally given the order to fire on Iranian ships. And remember what the New Yorker magazine and, of course, Seymour Hersh reported, and it was later confirmed that White House officials told Cy Hersh that Cheney was having U.S. attack boats, gunboats, painted up like blue Iranian gunboats, and we're going to have Navy SEALs attack U.S. or other ships to be blamed. And it turns out right at that same time there were these fake transmissions that turned out they were not from Iran. And then later, the evidence pointed towards private contractors saying, we're going to fire missiles at you in 1 minute. And then the media said, oh, Iranian boats were going to attack. This is how they want to start World War III with Iran. This is a Strait of Hormuz event. We'll cover this top story and a lot more on the economy, the depression, the police state. We're going to be covering it all today. I'm Alex Jones. The websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Stay with us.